The Desert Mirage at Nellis, Shadows of the Unknown. Prologue, Whispers in the Sand. The Nevada desert is a land of illusions, where the sun-baked earth plays tricks on the eyes and the mind. Heat waves dance like phantoms on the horizon, turning distant mountains into shimmering lakes that vanish upon approach. It's a place where secrets are buried deep, not just in the sand, but in the fortified bunkers of military installations that dot the landscape. Nellis Air Force Base, sprawled across 11,000 acres of this unforgiving terrain, is the crown jewel of American aerial warfare training. Home to the Red Flag exercises, where pilots hone their skills in simulated combat, it's a hub of innovation, testing, and, some say, the inexplicable. In July 1992, the mercury climbed to 115 degrees Fahrenheit, turning the base into a furnace. Airman First Class Marcus Hale, a 22-year-old from rural Kansas, was assigned to guard duty at Hangar 18, a structure shrouded in myth, rumored to house experimental aircraft derived from otherworldly sources. Marcus had joined the Air Force to escape the monotony of farm life, dreaming of adventure. Little did he know that his night shift would thrust him into an encounter that would redefine his reality. As the sun dipped below the jagged peaks of the Spring Mountains, casting long shadows over the tarmac, Marcus settled into his post. The air hummed with the distant roar of F-16 Falcons returning from maneuvers. He sipped lukewarm coffee from his thermos, scanning the perimeter fence that separated the classified zone from the endless expanse of scrubland. The desert night was alive with the chirps of insects and the occasional howl of a coyote, but an unnatural stillness hung in the air that evening, a prelude to the extraordinary. Chapter 1. The Anomalous Lights. It started with the lights. At around 2200 hours, Marcus's radio crackled with reports from the control tower, erratic blips on radar, moving too fast for conventional aircraft. Possible drone incursion, the voice said, but Marcus knew better. Drones didn't accelerate from standstill to Mach 2 in seconds. He grabbed his binoculars, peering into the twilight. There, against the fading purple sky, danced pinpricks of light, blue, red, and white, weaving patterns that defied physics. "Control, this is Hale at Post 7. Visual confirmation on those anomalies. They're dancing, sir, like fireflies on steroids." "Roger that, Hale. Maintain position. Security teams en route." But before reinforcements arrived, the lights coalesced into a single pulsating orb descending toward a dry wash just beyond the fence. Marcus's heart pounded. Protocol dictated he stay put, but curiosity and a sense of duty propelled him forward. He hopped into his Humvee, headlights piercing the gathering dark, and drove toward the site. The wash was a shallow gully, carved by rare flash floods, now bone dry and littered with tumbleweeds. As Marcus killed the engine, the orb touched down silently, morphing into a disc-shaped vessel about 30 feet in diameter. Its surface was smooth, metallic, reflecting the stars like a mirror. No seams, no rivets, just a seamless hull that hummed faintly, vibrating the ground beneath his boots. Marcus drew his M9 pistol, chambering around. "This is U.S. Air Force property. Identify yourself." Silence. Then a seam appeared on the craft's underside, unfolding like a flower petal. From the opening stepped a figure, tall, slender, humanoid. Its skin was translucent, veins glowing with an inner light that pulsed in rhythm with the craft's hum. Elongated limbs moved with fluid grace, and its head, featureless except for large obsidian eyes, tilted curiously toward him. Marcus's mind raced. A rival nation's spy? Some Black Ops hologram test gone wrong? But the being's presence felt real, tangible. It raised a hand, no, appendage, in what might have been a gesture of peace, but Marcus, trained to respond to threats, saw only intrusion. "Halt! Don't move!" The entity advanced, ignoring the command. Panic surged. Marcus fired, a warning shot into the sand. The entity paused, then continued. In that split second, visions flashed through Marcus's mind, classified briefings on exotic threats, whispers of Area 51 experiments. Was this one of them? Escaped? Or something else? He squeezed the trigger again, this time aiming true. The rounds struck the torso, eliciting sparks and a high-pitched keen. The entity staggered, collapsing into the dust, releasing a vapor that hung in the air like mist. Radioing in, his voice trembled. "Control, Hale here. Intruder down. Repeat, intruder down. It's not human." Chapter 2. The hallucinations began. Within minutes, the base erupted into controlled chaos. Floodlights bathed the scene as a quick reaction force arrived, black-clad airmen in hazmat suits sealing off the area. Marcus was pulled aside for debriefing by Captain Elena Ruiz, a stern intelligence officer with a reputation for no-nonsense interrogations. "What the hell happened, airman?" Marcus recounted the events, his words tumbling out. But as he spoke, the vapor from the entity seemed to cling to him, seeping into his pores. Visions assaulted his senses, star maps unfolding like origami, alien worlds with twin suns, vast cities floating in gas giants. He shook his head, dismissing them as adrenaline. The team's medic examined the body, or what remained. It had begun to dissolve, turning into an iridescent fluid that soaked into the sand. Samples were collected hastily, the craft itself lifting off remotely, vanishing into the night sky with a whoosh that bent nearby Joshua trees. Back in the barracks, Marcus couldn't sleep. The hallucinations intensified. He saw himself in a lab, strapped to a table, surrounded by beings like the one he'd shot. Probes delved into his mind, extracting memories. Was this real, or the entity's dying gift, a psychic imprint? By morning, rumors spread like wildfire across the base. Pilots in the mess hall whispered of similar sightings during red flag ops. Crafts that outmaneuvered their jets, leaving no radar signature. One veteran, Sergeant Tom Wilkins, pulled Marcus aside. "Damn, kid, I've seen them shadow our flights, but never up close. Word is they're from Groom Lake, testing anti-grav tech." Groom Lake, Area 51, just 80 miles north. The Nevada Test and Training Range was a black world where the impossible became prototype. But Marcus's encounter felt too alien, too other. That afternoon, a convoy of unmarked vans arrived, disembarking men in suits, not Air Force blues, but civilian attire with agency vibes. CIA? NSA? They cordoned off Hangar 18, where the fluid samples were stored. Marcus was summoned for a second debriefing, this time under sodium lights in a windowless room. Airman Hale, describe the entity again. He did, but midway, a vision hit him. The entity's perspective. It wasn't invading, it was observing, curious about human aggression. The shots weren't fatal in the physical sense. The entity was a projection, a scout from a multi-dimensional realm. The death released a mimetic virus, infecting witnesses with glimpses of its origin. The interrogator nodded, unfazed. "You've been exposed to a psychotropic agent. We'll administer countermeasures." A needle prick, and the visions faded, replaced by a foggy amnesia.
but fragments lingered, haunting his dreams. Chapter 3: The Cover-Up Unfolds. As days turned to weeks, the incident was buried under layers of bureaucracy. Official reports cited a malfunctioning experimental drone from a classified program. Marcus was reassigned to desk duty, monitored for PTSD. But leaks trickled out, anonymous posts on early internet bulletin boards describing the Nellis Mirage. Meanwhile, at Area 51, in the depths of S4, a rumored subterranean facility, scientists pored over the recovered fluid. Dr. Lena Voss, a physicist specializing in exotic matter, led the analysis. The substance wasn't organic or metallic. It was a smart fluid capable of self-assembly into structures mimicking life.
Months passed. Marcus's tour ended, and he returned to civilian life, haunted. He joined UFO research groups, sharing anonymized accounts. In 1995, he met Elena Voss at a conference. She'd defected, going public with documents. Together, they pieced it together. The entity was a biomechanical scout, part of a fleet monitoring nuclear sites. Nellis, with its proximity to the Nevada test site, was a hotspot. The death triggered a response. Increased sightings, crop circles in nearby fields, even abductions reported by locals. But pursuit came at a cost. Men in black tailed them, phones tapped. Voss vanished in 1997, her apartment ransacked. Marcus went underground, writing a manuscript, Mirage of the Stars. In it, he detailed the visions: alien worlds decimated by war, survivors transcending physical form, exploring dimensions. Earth was a waypoint, humans primitive but dangerous. Chapter 5: Revelations and Retaliation. By 2000, the manuscript leaked online, fueling the disclosure movement. Government denials followed, but cracks appeared. In 2017, the Pentagon's ATIP program admitted studying UAPs, releasing videos echoing Marcus's descriptions. Marcus, now in hiding, watched from afar. The Mirage wasn't just desert heat, it was a veil, lifting slowly. But the entity's final message lingered. We watch, we wait, do not provoke. Epilogue: Echoes in the Desert. Today, Nellis hums on, pilots training against simulated foes. But on clear nights, lights still dance, reminders that the Mirage is real and the shadow